In today's video, I'll show you how to send emails with Laravel using Gmail API. From enabling the Gmail API to adding custom email sending logic to your Laravel project. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Mailtrap videos, where we explore the world of emails. First things first, visit your Google Console dashboard and select your project. Next, go to APIs and Services, where you can enable the Gmail API. Then let's create the OAuth consent screen, which looks something like this. You'll just need to enter the app name, user support email, and developer contact information. The rest of the details are optional. Select your scopes, follow the rest of the prompts, and back to the dashboard we go. Click on Create Credentials, choose your application type, insert localhost as our URI, and hit Create. Finally, download your JSON file and store it securely. And here they are, our credentials from the JSON file, which includes the client ID and the client secret, as well as unique identifier for your Google OAuth 2.0, Google Cloud ID, which links the credentials, the URL where users are redirected to log in to their Google account, the URL to the certificate used for verifying Google's authorization server, and the URL where Google will send the user after they've authenticated successfully. Note that you should secure the credentials.json file in a more private place, such as the storage folder, instead of the public directory, like I did for this demo video. Besides the .env and credential.json files, we'll also be using emailcontroller.php, which is our main configuration file, web.php, which is generated by Laravel and holds our routing. Now let's run the following commands to install Google Client Library with a specific Google API client version, depending on the Laravel version you're using. For example, clients 2 to 3 are fully compatible with Laravel 10 and 11. With the Google client installed, we can jump over to the web.php file located in the routes directory, which contains all the URIs we need to run our project. I created 2 routes already that define the URL patterns our application will respond to. The send email route that handles email sending, and the callback route that handles the callback after authentication, which, if you remember, we specified in our credentials file. Now, these two are associated with the methods in our emailcontroller.php file, where we have the following: the private client, a class variable that just holds the Google client service. Next, we have our credentials, which are being pulled from the downloaded JSON file. These I copied in the .env file I created in the vendor directory. There's also the add scope for Gmail's send functionality, allowing the app to send emails on behalf of the authenticated user. We also have the send email to multiple recipients function, which will be called when the user visits the send email URL. Keep in mind that you can rename it accordingly, if you plan to send emails to a single recipient with this logic, for example. And finally, there's the createAuth URL method that generates an authentication URL and redirects the user to Google OAuth login, initiating the sending process after obtaining the authorization from the user. And here, in line 34, you can specify whether you want to send your email to one or more recipients. Of course, feel free to modify the subject and message body as you wish. Now that we've got theory out of the way, here's the full configuration for the email.controller.php you can copy directly into your configuration file. And finally, let's test out the email sending functionality by running our project with PHP Artisan Serve and visiting our local host. As this is just a placeholder for the project, I'll quickly go to the send email URL, which will take me to the OAuth consent screen we configured at the beginning of the process. Choose an account, hit continue, and there we go. Email has been sent successfully to multiple recipients. And by the way, in the URL, you can see our callback or redirect URI, where Google sends the user after successful OAuth authentication. Authorization code used by your server to exchange an access token from Google. Scope that indicates the permissions requested by the user. Now that we've added basic sending functionality to our Laravel app, let's find out how to send emails with attachments. To send attachments with Gmail API in a Laravel project, we'll have to modify our email controller.php. The code is pretty much the same as the last one, with notable parts such as the construct, which specifies our credentials and login information. The handle callback function is a little bit different than the previous one, as it will redirect an error message if the code field is empty. For our email, we'll use the subject, to, and message text. To separate text and attachment in our message, we'll use boundary. Set the char set to UTF-8. Then we have our message body, which starts with defining the MIME type of the first part of our email, includes char set, which is UTF-8, and holds our encoding, 7-bit in this case. And of course, there's the message text for the body of our email. As for the attachments part, file path sets the path of the file you want to attach, which we have under the public folder. File name assigns a name to our attachment as it will appear in the email. File data is loaded with the data read from the file. Base64 file encodes the content of the file. Written in the file gets contents string, making it safe for transmission via email. All of this is called back to via message body, as you can see here. Lastly, in our raw message, we hold the full content of our email, subject, MIME version, content type, and message body, completing our string. And to test our code, we'll go to localhost, add send email URI, and hit enter. With the code added, I'd suggest making sure that your Laravel application has the necessary permissions to read the file you wish to attach. Additionally, keep in mind that Gmail has an attachment limit of 25 megabytes per email. If your files exceed this limit, you can either use a Google Drive link or compress them a bit. Moving on, let's add some zest to our emails by sending HTML content. The sending principles are the same, and again, our best friend will be the email controller.php file, where we'll store the content of our email in HTML content, which uses tags to structure the email body and style it. Set the email content type to text/HTML in our message body. Set the content transfer encoding line to quoted printable, which will ensure that our HTML is properly transmitted. Insert the HTML content into the body of our message. For the rest of the code, we will add our recipients, base64 encode our message, and everything else as usual. Lastly, there's the message instance and the send function. Our server is running, so let's see if our code works. We'll go to localhost, enter our send email URL, and voila, it works like a charm. So far in the video, I've covered synchronous email sending functionality. Now let me show you how to implement a queue system, which will allow your app to handle heavier loads and process emails in the background, improving response times for user interactions. Oh, and while you're at it, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell. It's free. Plus, as part of the Mailtrap community, you'll be notified whenever we drop other Laravel and email-related tutorials. To begin with, in our .env file, we'll set queue_connection and cache_store to use database. However, you can use other drivers like Redis, SQS, and the like. Next, let's create a new job file with the following artisan command. It will be used primarily for handling queue tasks, which are time-consuming. Laravel will generate the folder for you under jobs, containing similar lines of code. However, here are the things you should pay attention to and adjust accordingly. 3 variables. 2 subject message text credentials imported from .env that comes from credential.json. And the rest of the code is quite similar to the previous one. Lastly, we'll call our main application file with the dispatch located in the web.php file, which also contains the URL for calling our dispatch function. Now, let's test it out in localhost with the queue API URL. And there we go, email sent successfully. And again, for your convenience, here's the full code you can copy. That's it, folks. We've successfully added email sending logic to Laravel and leveraged the Gmail API. Now it's time to learn how to add verification or multi-auth logic to your Laravel app. For this, go through our step-by-step tutorials here or here. See you in a minute.